Hi, for today's story I'm going to be sitting outside. I know it looks quite nice out here, but I've had to put my coat on because it's quite cold. Even brought a cup of tea out with me as well, in my favourite mug. So I'm going to be reading a couple of poems from a book called A Poem for Every Day of the Year. Some of them are quite short, but I saw this book and I thought it looks really good actually. Love after love. The time will come when with elation you will greet yourself you're arriving at your own door in your own mirror, and each will smile at the other's welcome and say, sit here, eat. You will love again the stranger who was yourself. Give wine, give bread, give back your heart to itself, to the stranger who has loved you all your life, whom you ignored for another who knows you by heart. Take down the love letters from the bookshelf, the photographs, the desperate notes, peel your own image from the mirror. Sit, feast on your life. Next poem is called Paper Boats. Day by day, I float my paper boats one by one down the running stream. In big black letters, I write my name on them and the name of the village where I live. I hope that someone in some strange land will find them and know who I am. I load my little boats with flowers from our garden and hope that these blooms of the dawn will be carried safely to the land in the night. I launch my paper boats and I look into the sky and see the little clouds sitting their white bulging sails. I know not what playmate of mine in the sky sends them down to the air to race with my boats. When night comes, I bury my face in my arms and dream that my white paper boats float on and on under the midnight stars. The fairies of sleep are sailing in them, and the lading is their baskets full of dreams. The next one, which is a really short one, is called Western Wind, When Wilt Thou Blow. Western wind, when wilt thou blow? The small rain down can rain. Christ, if my love were in my arms, and I in my bed again. Next one is called Who Has Seen the Wind? Who has seen the wind? Neither I nor you. But when the leaves hang trembling, the wind is passing through. Who has seen the wind? Neither you nor I. But when the trees bow down their heads, the wind is passing by. This one's called In the Dark, Dark Wood. In the dark, dark wood, there was a dark, dark house, and in that dark, dark house, there was a dark, dark room. And in that dark, dark room, there was a dark, dark cupboard. And in that dark, dark cupboard, there was a dark, dark shelf. And on that dark, dark shelf, there was a dark, dark box. And in that dark, dark box, there was a ghost. Interesting one. This one is called Halloween. The ghosts of all things past parade, emerging from the mist and shade that hid them from our gaze, and full of song and ringing mirth, in one glad moment of rebirth, again they walk the ways of earth, as in the ancient days. The beacon light shines on the hill, the willow wisps the forest fill, with flashes filched from noon, and witches on their broomsticks spry, speed here and yonder in the sky, and lift their strident voices high, unto the hunter's moon. The air resounds with tuneful notes, from myriads of straining throats, all hailing Folly Queen, so join the swelling choral throng, forgot your sorrow and your wrong, in your glad hour of joyous song, to honour Halloween. Interesting one again. This is called From the Devil's Thoughts. From his brimstone bed at break of day, a-walking the devil is gone, to visit his little snug farm the earth, and see how his stock goes on. Over the hill and over the dale, and he went over the plain, and backward and forward he switched his long tail, as a gentleman switches his cane. And how then was the devil dressed? Oh, he was in his Sunday best. His jacket was red and his breeches were blue, and there was a hole where the tail came through. Quite like that one. So this one is called television. The most important thing we've learned so far as children were concerned is never, never, never let them near the television set. Or better still, just don't install the idiotic thing at all. In almost every house we've been, we've watched them gaping at the screen. They loll and slop and lounge about and stare until their eyes pop out. Last week in someone's place, we saw a dozen eyeballs on the floor. They sit and stare and sit until they're hypnotised by it, until they're absolutely drunk with all that shocking, ghastly junk. Oh yes, we know it keeps them still. They don't climb out the windowsill. They never fight or kick or punch. They leave you free to cook the lunch and wash the dishes in the sink. But did you ever stop to think? To wonder just exactly what this does to your beloved tot? It rots the sense in the head. It kills imagination dead. It clogs and clutters up the mind. It makes a child so dull and blind. He can no longer understand a fantasy, a fairyland. His brain becomes as soft as cheese. His powers of thinking rust and freeze. He cannot think, he only sees. All right, you'll cry. All right, you'll say. But if we take the set away, or shall we do to entertain our darling children, please explain. We'll ask this by asking you, what use the darling ones to do? How used they keep themselves contented before these monsters were invented? Have you forgotten, don't you know? We'll say it very loud and slow. They used to read, they read and read, and read and read, then proceed to read some more. Great Scott, gadzooks, one half their lives was reading books. Their nursery shelves held books galore. Books cluttered up the nursery floor, and in the bedroom by the bed, more books were waiting to be read. Such wondrous fine, fantastic tales of dragons, gypsies, queens and whales, and treasure isles and distant shores, where smugglers rowed and muffled oars, and pirates wearing purple pants, and sailing ships and elephants, and cannibals crouching round the pot, stirring away at something hot. It smells so good, what can it be? Good gracious, it's Penelope. The young ones had Beatrix Potter, with Mr. Todd, the dirty rotter, and Squirrel Nutkin, pigling bland, and Mrs. Tiggerwinkle, and just how the camel got his hump, and how the monkey lost his rump, and Mr. Toad, and bless my soul, there's Mr. Rat and Mr. Mole. Oh books, what books they used to know, those children living long ago. So please, oh please, we beg, we pray, go throw your TV set away, and in its place you can install a lovely bookshelf on the wall. Then fill the shelves with lots of books, ignoring all the dirty looks, the screams and yells and bites and kicks, and children hitting you with sticks. Fear not, because we promise you that in about a week or two of having nothing else to do, they'll now begin to feel the need of having something good to read. And once they start, oh boy, you'll watch the start slowly growing joy that fills their hearts. They'll grow so keen, they'll wonder what they'd never seen in that ridiculous machine. Those nauseating, foul, unclean, repulsive television screen. And later, each and every kid will love you more for what you did. I really like that one. Now, I'm not saying to go and get rid of your TV sets, but that's several poems read today. I hope you enjoyed that. All I would normally say is please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm just going to carry on drinking my tea to warm up a little bit because it's quite cold out here now. But thanks for joining me today.